I am Daniela Torres, and I am a senior.
My name is Ananya Roy, and I'm a senior.
My name is Sara Torres, and I'm a senior.
My name is Sydney Mitchell. I am a 12th grader.
My name is Zach Briskin Watson, and I am in the 11th grade.
My name is Vicky, and I am in 11th grade.
My name is Darcy Rockine. I'm a senior.
My name is Arsima Betha, and I'm a senior.
I'm Dina Mabruk. I'm a junior at BCC.
My name is Raneem Risku, and I'm in the 11th grade.
I think the biggest ones I've encountered is that Jewish people are pushy, or that they're obsessed with money or obsessed with power, whether that be within the government or the media.
I've been told oh, you should become a maid when you're older because you're Hispanic and stuff like that. Or I've been called a poor American because I'm Puerto Rican.
People tend to be like, oh, you're Latina, you're Puerto Rican, your family, a whole entire family speaks Spanish, you must speak Spanish too. And then I have to be like, actually, I grew up here, so that is not something that I do. I decided in 6th grade, when we were signing up for classes, for some reason, little Daniela was like, I'm gonna take French instead of Spanish.
I'm full IB, and there's very few black girls in the full IB diploma program. So when I tell people I'm full IB, they're always like, really, that's not hard for you? That's not a lot? I don't know why they're surprised. I think it just kind of goes into the stigma that I guess a lot of black people, when it comes to higher education, is just not interested in seeking for higher education, which is not true at all. I have so many friends who are so advanced and are so headstrong about their education, and I think that's a stereotype that quickly needs to be cut down.
So definitely throughout my years I have dealt with a lot of misconceptions about Islam, or about Middle Eastern people being violent or terrorists. And for me, the way that I deal with them is instead of getting really upset about it and reactionary, I take a step back and I ask them the question, what makes you think that, or why do you believe that? And I think it really creates a space for discussion to be held. And then by the end of that, I feel like the person really comes to understand that maybe what they know or what they think is not based on facts or their own personal experience, but based on something that they have seen from the media or a narrative that is being pushed to them.
I have realized when it comes to my dad, who's the Croatian one, that we do get stereotypes of more Russian, people think we're Russian or something. And mainly when the conflict between Ukraine and Russia started, people in the streets would look at it, at least me and my dad talking. People would basically look at us as if we were Russian, because they don't know how to tell the difference between all those Eastern European languages.
I think students need to have more patience with each other for the most part. When it comes to bullying, typically people who bully are people who just don't want to understand someone else. They just want to kind of push their own ideas onto another person, onto other people. If we all can be just a little more understanding of someone's situation or their opinions or ideas, I think that would be really good when it comes to addressing bullying.
I think students can support one another and stand up against hate and bullying by listening to each other and being willing to learn. Because so often now I feel it's when people try to talk, people are only hearing and not listening. And if we're able to maturely and calmly talk out what's happening and discuss with each other and reflect and learn, it will be so much easier to combat hate and bullying.
Well, I know calling out casual homophobia when you hear it in the classroom is not something that'll probably happen, but just acknowledge that's what it is. That's a very integral component of it. And learning to recognize casual homophobia and transphobia wherever it is just an important skill.
I think the biggest thing is just to listen to other people and understand that people's stories are unique to them, their experiences are unique to them, and have an ability to empathize with them, understand that you're not going to know exactly what they're going through. Neither are they going to know exactly what you're going through, but it's just important to be willing to listen to their stories, be willing to listen to their voice, and help them when they reach out to you for help.
So I think students can support one another by attending each other's student unions and clubs and organizations. And even though they might not share the same background or the same like ethnicity or race or gender as the other person, it's important for them to gain that knowledge and to learn about their experiences and that what they have to do to go through and their issues, to make sure that there is some level of understanding and respect. And ultimately, I think that really just generates unity among BCC students.
I think social media really promotes a lot of stereotypes about what a certain race or ethnicity acts like or is supposed to do. And that definitely impacts what people think of others and can contribute to like implicit bias and such. And additionally, I think it's so much easier to say something on like as a comment rather than going up to someone's face and saying it directly.
I think a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of a lot of the comments that they put on social media and how it can really impact someone on the other end of the screen. When we see someone face to face, we know it hurts them, but behind a screen, it's a little bit harder to see the impact of what we're saying. So I think social media enables us to spread hate in a way that you can't in person. So I think it's really important that we're also willing to not just post on our stories whenever we see something that upsets us or just because everyone else is posting, but also reaching out to the people behind those posts.
I think that social media can come with like bullying and cyberbullying and all that, and like sometimes like it can perpetuate stereotypes and people will be posting racist things or offensive comments and stuff like that, and it can be a place where hate is fostered because like if you look at the news, people post about the news and stuff, and that can just make everything more polarized. I don't think that's good, but at the same time I do think it is a place that you can find other people who are similar to you. Like I run our BCC LSU Instagram account, and I feel like that's a way that you can find other people who are like you. Like you can go on Instagram, find like different organizations, different like clubs at BCC or like even beyond BCC that are going to be activists for things that matter to you, and like or just posting things that matter to you, that are like that make you feel seen, that make you feel heard as a person, that make you like understand like, hey, this is validating how I feel. I'm not the only person who feels that way. So although there is the issue of like it can create a lot of polarization, I think at the same time it can also create communities and create a vessel in which and tool in which people can find communities.
I think one thing I've noticed with social media would be how easy it is for someone to say something hateful and to sort of get away with it, or to sort of pass it off as like, oh, I was joking. Like it was a lighthearted joke. And I think that again, like over social media, over text or anything, it's easy to like misread or misunderstand things. And I think it just becomes a lot easier for people to post anonymously as well, right? So I think it becomes like this unprotected space where people can just like get away with a lot of hate speech, like, oh, it's a joke, or oh, you don't need to take it that seriously, it's just some words online. And I think that's one of the main things that I've seen.
I think that schools can do that by creating more lessons for students, such as like educational lessons on different types of discriminations and stereotypes on different groups of people.
So the voice of students is very important because every single person has a different background, and so every single person is going to have a different view on the way things that should be done. Like my perspective on how something should be done is going to be different from someone else's perspective on how something should be done because of where I'm from, because of my culture, because of the way I was raised, because of my background, because of my current life. Like everyone is going to have their own different perspective. So I think the way that the school could get involved and help actually like better like understand what's going on in the school at the student level is having many students come together, many student voices heard, because like every student is going to have a different main issue. Like the thing I think is the biggest issue at BCC is probably not going to be the same thing another kid thinks is the biggest issue at BCC. And sometimes there are some issues that I might not realize even exist, or maybe someone else might not even realize they even exist. And sometimes like administration, they might think, oh, this is the big problem we need to address, when in reality that might be something that like students don't even care about. So I feel like listening to students, and not just like one or two students, like actually coming together with many to actually listen to what people want.
Okay, well, I think that having like events like International Night or just like festivals where people can come together and work together could help people from diverse backgrounds feel comfortable and learn from other cultures as well and other viewpoints.
I think voice is something that's really important. So the school actively reaching out to students of all different backgrounds, getting our input on different projects, making sure that we're represented within pep rallies or other events, making sure that there's representation within the student government and all of BCC's diverse clubs of different students of different backgrounds.
So my message to students at BCC is to really join as many student unions as you can, or attend as many meetings as you can, because I think there's so much valuable information that is being shared through these meetings, and that there's so much stuff that you could learn about people and their experiences that you may not have otherwise have ever known. So I think even just branching out beyond your own organization and your own background is really important.
My message to BCC students is, I think, to just lead with empathy and really just be willing to listen to other people. Having an open mind is also pretty crucial, and when you see something wrong, call it out. Don't be afraid to go against the tide. If you don't like how something is, change it. Take initiative. Be the one who creates the positive change. If you don't like something, change it. If you want to do something, do it. Those are my big takeaways.